to the Day by Day podcast for the 4th week of May, 2016. Welcome to the Day by Day podcast with me, Siobhan. This week, we stand up for human rights, honor our seafaring pals, and try a well-known French dish. Let's get started. This Sunday is National Maritime Day in the U.S. It's a day to recognize the maritime industry. It is observed every year on May 22nd, which is the anniversary of the first transoceanic voyage under steam power, which happened in 1819. At that time, the steamship Savannah set sail from Savannah, Georgia. The holiday was created in 1933. Ceremonies are held around the nation, including the nation's capital, as well as institutions like the Massachusetts Maritime Academy. So a little bit about the SS Savannah. The steamship left the port of Savannah May 22, 1819, headed to Liverpool, England. The voyage took 29 days and 4 hours, becoming the first steamship to cross the Atlantic. However, steam was not the only mode of propulsion. Historians estimate that the Savannah was under sail about 80% of the time. The maritime industry has played a crucial role in the strength of the U.S. since the Revolutionary War. The first U.S. merchant marine action took place on June 12, 1775, when a group of citizens from Machias, Maine, or maybe it's Machias, Maine, heard about the events at Concord and Lexington, which you'll recall we just observed on Patriots' Day in April. These citizens boarded and captured the schooner British warship HMS Margaretta. The Continental Navy was formed during the Revolutionary War and grew to become fairly substantial considering the limitations imposed upon it. John Paul Jones is considered America's first well-known naval hero during the Revolutionary War. Though he never rose above the rank of captain, he was victorious over the British ship, the HMS Serapis. In 1861, the American merchant marine became the world's largest. These ships were highly targeted by the Confederate States during the Civil War. And still today, the maritime industry plays a vital role in supporting the U.S. military in times of peace as well as during conflict. They deliver supplies and relief aid at home and abroad, and they power the world's largest economy and strengthen our ties with trading partners around the world, all while supporting our military forces by shipping troops and supplies wherever they need to go. So be sure to thank a maritime professional near you this Sunday.
So, this snail is standing in front of the Cadillac salesman, see? And he looks up at the salesman and he says, "How much is that Cadillac?" Snail said, "I want a big S put on each door, a big S. And on top of the car, I want another big S, so everybody can see it." So the salesman says, "But what do you want that for?" He said, "Well, you see, when I drive down the avenue, I want everybody to say, 'Look at that Escargot.'"
That was from the 1983 movie Trading Places, and this Tuesday is National Escargot Day in the U.S. If you've never tried it, or if it's your favorite snack, this is the day to indulge. Escargot is a cooked land snail, traditionally served as an appetizer in Portugal, Spain, and France. The French typically purge, kill, remove the snail from the shell, and cook it in butter and garlic, broth, or wine. It is then placed back into its shell with butter and sauce for serving. In Maltese cuisine, the snails are simmered in their shells in red wine or ale with mint, basil, and marjoram. Escargots are 80% water, high in protein and low in fat, without the butter, of course. So they're fairly healthy on their own. In my opinion, escargot is actually pretty tasty. I mean, it's butter and garlic. Just don't think about what it actually is. This Thursday is Red Nose Day, brought to you by NBC, Walgreens, M&M's, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and organized by the Comic Relief Charity. This day started in the U.S. just last year. Red Nose Day is a global movement accompanied by a live TV special to raise awareness and money for kids who need it most. The mission of Red Nose Day is to lift kids out of poverty and has raised over $1 billion globally in the last 25 plus years. The first Red Nose Day was February 5th, 1988, when it was launched as a national day of comedy in the UK. That first year raised £15 million. Beginning in 1991, the event took place every other year in the UK. The symbol of Red Nose Day is, of course, a red nose, like what a clown would wear. The red noses can be purchased in the US at Walgreens for a donation. People are encouraged to wear the noses to raise awareness for the comic relief charity. About half of the world's population lives on less than $2.50 a day, and about 1 billion children worldwide live in poverty. According to a 2007 report by UNICEF, 22,000 children die every day due to poverty, and around 27 to 28% of all children in developing countries are estimated to be underweight or have stunted growth. The two regions that account for the bulk of the deficit are South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. Red Nose Day in the U.S. promises that half of the money distributed will be spent right here in the U.S. and the other half will be spent in some of the poorest communities in Latin America, Asia, and Africa. All money raised supports projects that ensure kids are safe, healthy, and educated. Last year, on Red Nose Day 2015, $23 million was raised. That means they were able to distribute 7.8 million meals. This helped more than 200,000 children get resources for reading and education. This allowed for more than 1 million preventative disease-fighting drugs for children, pregnant women, and others abroad. This allowed for 50,000 plus kids and families to have medical services. It allowed for 30,000 plus families to have clean water and sanitation, and 170,000 vaccines for children. Be sure to watch the live event on NBC this Thursday and get your Red Nose at Walgreens. For more information on Red Nose Day in the U.S., visit rednoseday.org. Finally, this Saturday is Amnesty International Day. I have yet to verify that this is an official holiday. However, May 28th is the anniversary of the publication of an article called The Forgotten Prisoners, published in the British newspaper The Observer in 1961. This article was the impetus for Amnesty International, which was officially founded in July of 1961 by Peter Benenson, the lawyer who wrote the article. Amnesty International is a non-governmental organization focused on human rights. It is a global movement of more than 7 million people in over 150 countries and territories. Their motto is, "It is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness." Peter Benenson was moved to write the aforementioned article when he was outraged upon reading of 2 Portuguese students who had been sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for allegedly having drunk a toast to liberty. His article was reprinted in newspapers around the world and sparked the idea that people everywhere can unite in solidarity for justice and freedom. In 2001, Peter Benenson was awarded the Pride of Britain Award for Lifetime Achievement. He died in 2005 at the age of 83. One of Amnesty International's great accomplishments is the abolition of the death penalty in various countries around the world. In 1961, only 9 countries had abolished state executions. By 2014, that figure had risen to 140. Other key areas Amnesty International focuses on are the rights of women, children, minorities, refugees, and indigenous people, ending torture, and the protection of human dignity. What started as a London-based organization now has regional offices in Africa, Asia Pacific, Central and Eastern Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East. For more information on Amnesty International or to contribute to their causes, visit their website at amnesty.org. That's it for this week. Thanks for listening. I'll be back next week. Until then, remember to make each day count.